What is going on, everyone? How are you? It is me. I was going to do this in a bathroom chat, but I decided that I don't think it would work as a bathroom chat, so I decided to just come into the office and do this. Um, because I saw another agent make some comments about this video on the New York Times, and I just kind of wanted to go over this New York Times video with you all and kind of debunk the New York Times article, well, this video on TikTok that's going on TikTok and Instagram about what's happening in the real estate market. So I want to break the video down. So let's go over it. And you can find this if you follow the New York Times on Instagram or TikTok, but let's just kind of go over what it says.
The real estate industry just experienced one of the biggest shakeups of the past 100 years. The National Association of Realtors, the trade organization that essentially oversees the real estate industry, agreed to a very important settlement that's going to have massive ramifications for the housing industry. The number one question people are asking is, what is this going to do to the housing market? Most of the economists that I spoke to are very confident that as a result of this settlement, home prices, at least to some extent, are going to drop.
Let's break that down for a second, shall we? Okay, so I just randomly chose two properties here in San Diego in two very moderately priced neighborhoods. I did not go overboard with these properties. They're very moderately priced properties. So let's go take a look. Actually, one of my girlfriends sold on Sturgis Avenue in La Mesa. This was a two-bedroom, one bath, and I just chose two-bedroom, one baths throughout San Diego County, and I picked La Mesa and 92105 and 92115, so very moderately priced neighborhoods. So Emily had priced this home at $679,000, and it closed at $760,000. It closed at $760,000. So it did not close less than the list price. It closed higher than the list price. Now, we are in a housing shortage here in San Diego County. There's only a couple thousand, less than 3,000 homes on the market in San Diego County. And the reason we're in such a housing crisis in San Diego County is because when the real estate market crashed in 2008, builders stopped building. So there's not enough units to buy. So we don't have as many units on the market as we once did. Let's take a look at another property that I just randomly selected. This one in City Heights at Belle Isle Drive. Okay, so this home came on the market, two bedroom, one bath, 934 square feet, came on the market at $675 and closed at $730,000. Keep in mind, this lawsuit was representing sellers. It wasn't representing buyers. So sellers were saying that they shouldn't have to pay a buyer's agent commission. So first and foremost, the housing prices, they're not going to go down as a result of this lawsuit. They're just not going down. In fact, they're going to continue to go up because the idea behind the whole lawsuit was for sellers to keep more money in their pocket. But let's finish watching.
Of them used really big terms. One expert I spoke to compared this settlement to the New Deal, which was the series of legislation that followed the Great Depression meant to jumpstart the housing industry. How large this impact will be remains to be seen. The average real estate commission in the US has hovered between 5 and 6% for a very long time. That number is significantly higher than in almost every other developed country. One of the reasons that number is so high is because the 6% is split between the seller agent and the buyer agent.
That part she got right. The commission is split between the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, but let's talk about that for a second and let's parse that down just a little bit. Commissions have always been 100% negotiable, and depending on your agent and what your agent's willing to work for, those commissions have absolutely 100% been negotiable. They are not, I repeat, they are not fixed, they are not set in stone. So all commissions are 100% negotiable. They always have been. So you could have negotiated whatever you wanted for your commission. It was completely 100% up to you. This was not something that was a hard set in stone thing. And the fee was I would negotiate 5 or 6%. And then I would tell the seller, I'm taking 50% of this commission and I'm rolling it back over into the buyer's agent. I'm going to make a completely different video on why you should want somebody to represent a buyer when they're coming, but that's a different story. But let's go on.
This is most likely the most important and the largest financial transaction an American will make in their entire life. So 6% of that transaction is a lot of money. Pretty much universally across the board, we can expect when commissions go down, sale prices of homes to go down too.
How is it that prices of homes are going to go down when commissions go down? The idea of this lawsuit was that sellers could put more money back in their pocket. I just showed you 2 examples of 2 properties in La Mesa and City Heights where they sold significantly over list price, which already tells me that this reporter at the New York Times does not know what they're talking about, and they're telling you that you can expect prices to go down. The prices are not going to go down. Sellers are going to sell what a buyer's willing to pay, and I'm telling you right now, buyers are willing to pay more when they know they don't have to come with a commission, because let me tell you what's going to happen. Let's say right now a buyer is pre-approved at $800,000, but let's say a seller is not offering a commission, and let's just say for whole number purposes that they sign a buyer representation agreement with an agent at 2.5 or 3%. Let's just say 3%. So 800,000 times 3% is 24,000. That means that buyer now has to come with an additional $24,000 on top of their closing costs plus their down payment. So that means they're going to have to get pre-approved just to see if they can still qualify for that $800,000 house. And I got news for you. They're not going to qualify for that $800,000 house. So they're going down to the next house. That is still not going to cause prices to come down, period. Sellers are going to get what they want for their properties because, like I said earlier, in 2008, we're in a housing shortage here in San Diego. There is no way a seller is just going to give away the goods. But let's continue to see what else she says, because there's some goodies coming up. Let's go.
Important to understand that any dip we're going to see in the housing market is not akin to something like the crash of 2008. If you own investment properties, these numbers are not going to plummet. But what this does mean is that if you're selling a home and you're looking to take money from that investment and then take it with you to go back into the housing market, you're going to have a little bit more with you when you leave that home sale to then put.
Okay, again, let's break that down. She just said that once you go sell that home, you're going to have a little bit more money to put back into the housing market. But what you're really doing is taking that little bit of money that you made, and now you're going to have to hire an agent to help you make the purchase of that property, unless you want to do it on your own, which you are 100% free to do. But you're going to have to hire an agent, which means it's going to cost you more. So that $800,000 house that you sold, typically you buy up, right? You're buying up, you're not buying lower. So let's say you go from 800,000 sale to $1 million sale. So now that means your real estate commission is $30,000. So you have to put another $6,000 from the sale of your property into purchasing the new property, on top of your closing costs, on top of your real estate commission, and on top of your down payment. So, and then you're cutting down the pool of buyers if a seller is not paying that real estate commission, so you're not getting that buyer frenzy to get the price up as high as it could be. It's still going to go higher. Trust me, real estate prices aren't coming down, but they're still going to go higher. So none of this makes sense, but let's see what else she got to say.
Forth to your next home and continue contributing to the economy. In addition, the cost of moving is going to go down.
I'm sorry. Did she say the cost of moving was going to go down? How is the cost of moving going to go down? Is Coleman Moving all of a sudden going to reduce their prices? Are 2 guys in a truck all of a sudden going to reduce their prices? Are Atlas Van Lines, if you're moving from state to state, all of a sudden going to reduce the price to move you? Like, how is this going to reduce I don't get it. She don't,
more or to move more frequently, and
girlfriend
taking
doesn't make
things
sense.
back into the housing
But
market, you're going to have a little bit
it
more
is what
wiggle
it
room.
is. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Now, I hit the wrong button, so we're gonna have to zoom through a little bit in this. Just 1 second, bear with me as
Which will
I.
probably encourage people to move more or to move more frequently, and that's always good for the housing market as well. What's likely to happen is the entire structure of how we buy and sell homes is going to shift, and a new model for compensating real estate agents is probably going to emerge. A really good analogy to consider is the travel industry. For so long, the only way to book travel was to work with a travel agent. Obviously, the industry for travel has now changed, and if you want to book a trip or a plane ticket or find a hotel room, you can go online, you can do it lots of different ways. Real estate has not adapted the same way, even though the technology for real estate with things like Zillow and Redfin has adapted. In many ways, like the travel industry, we can expect real estate to now evolve and also catch up to decades of progress that was essentially blocked, according to these lawsuits, because
Okay, so Miss Thing here is comparing you buying a house to buying a plane ticket off Expedia. Let's unpack that. She is right about one thing, that it is the largest investment that you're going to make. But if you think that people are just going to go online, click a button, and want to buy a house like they are buying a plane ticket off their phone or a Starbucks coffee, you've got another thing coming. I'm telling you right now that there's going to be a lot of inexperience in that. If that happens, there'll be a lot of inexperience in that type of transaction because I will tell you that the agents that will be willing to do that are not necessarily going to be experienced agents and they're not necessarily going to be good agents. On top of that, how is it if there's just an agent where you click a button and say, I want to buy this home? Let's just assume you have not seen the home. How is it if this agent doesn't have all the right credentials to get into the house? For example, like they don't have a central lock key. We use central lock here. Do you think that home sellers are just going to want willy-nilly buyers just walking into their house whenever they want? That's not going to happen. None of that's going to happen. Nobody's going to want their house unsecured, and they're just not going to do that. And comparing it to the travel industry is absolutely ridiculous because nobody is going to buy a house like you buy a plane ticket. It's not happening. Like, who does this person think she is? Like, this is absolutely insane. Let me tell you what is going to happen. This lawsuit, if everything's approved, and I think it will be, is going to weed out agents who are inexperienced. So all those agents that got into the business when it was very easy to make money during the pandemic, they'll probably be gone. They're probably just going to get out of the business because they're not going to know how to handle it and they're not going to know how to structure it. The other thing is, you're going to have to sign an agreement to agree to pay the agent that is taking you into the property, which means you have a committed contract with this agent showing you property. You can't be having multiple contracts willy-nilly just flying around, and it lowers the barrier of entry for a lot of home buyers, which means you're going to have less buyers buying, but the buyers that are qualified to buy are still going to buy your property and pay a premium. And they'll probably pay more if they know that they do not have to come to the table with that compensation package that they're now going to be committed to making. So I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. I think this New York Times TikTok, Instagram video is absolute garbage. It's misleading. And remember, I was a former journalist, so I can say a lot of this stuff. I just don't see this happening. Prices of homes are not going to go down. The way you buy a home is not going to go down. Statistics show that people still want a professional representing them in the purchase of their home. But if, this reporter here wants to go and click an app and buy a house, more power to her. I guarantee she is going to lose tens of thousands of dollars because things were not disclosed properly. She did not do the proper inspections on the property. There's just a whole bunch of stuff to unpack. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below. As always, if you have any questions about what's going on in the real estate market, feel free to reach out. I want to be a resource. Tell me if you disagree with me. That's fine too. I don't mind. I love an open dialogue, but like I said, I just don't see it happening. And, you know, I think I should run for president, John, so maybe we should make t shirts that say Chris Spade 2024 because there's a lot of people that don't make sense. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. If you are watching this on the replay, please type replay. Thank you very much. Hope you all have a great day.